Hello students, today we are going to start a new topic, Hardy-Weinberg principle from the chapter Evolution. According to this principle, allelic frequency remains constant from generation to generation, means the total gene pool remains constant. What is gene pool? It is the number of genes and their alleles in a population. And this Hardy-Weinberg law brings our attention towards genetic equilibrium, or we can say Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium is actually genetic equilibrium. Means allelic frequency in a population will remain same, will remain constant in moving from one generation to another generation. Allelic frequency is actually the total alleles present, means the gene pool, means the total number of genes and their alleles in a population. And this is shown with the help of an equation. The equation is p square plus 2pq plus q square is equal to 1. We know it is simply the square of p plus q whole square. But here, what does it mean? P and Q are the frequencies of different alleles. We have a population in which there are different alleles and their frequencies are P and Q. Suppose there we are talking about two alleles, and for one the frequency is P, for the other it is Q, and this can be expressed allelic frequency, that is expressed P plus Q whole square, means this is the expansion of the equation. Disturbance in genetic equilibrium results in evolution. This is the case when there are no disturbing factors and allelic frequency remains constant. And we are showing the frequency by representing them with P and Q of some genes. But what will happen when this equilibrium is disturbed? That will result in evolution, sharp changes, noticeable changes over a period of time. Now, what are those disturbances which disturb this equilibrium? What are those factors which destabilize this equilibrium? So, we are going to study the topic factors affecting Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. There are 5 factors. First is gene migration or gene flow. Means when individuals migrate to another place or population, new genes or alleles are added to new population and are lost from old population, in turn changing the frequencies. Here we are talking about a situation when from a particular area certain individuals migrate to the another area. Where they have migrated, some genes will be added, and from where they have gone, some genes will be lost. Because we are talking about the genes, actually the genes are in the individuals, and like this we are showing the gain or loss of the genes, and this is a factor which affects the equilibrium. When gene migration occurs many times, it is called gene flow. So gene flow is one of the factors, or gene migration is one of the factors which disturbs this equilibrium or which influences the equilibrium. Second factor is genetic drift, means changes occurring in frequencies by chance is called genetic drift. There are certain changes which occur by chance, sometimes due to changes in allelic frequencies in new population. Some form a different species. This is called founder's effect, and the original drifted population is called founder. Sometimes this question is asked, what is founder effect? They are original drifted population. Drifted means moved. So, changes occurring in frequencies by chance, that is called genetic drift, and they are due to changes in allelic frequency in the new population, and they form a different species. Finally, when they have shifted to a new area, they form a new species, and the originally drifted population will be called founder. This is founder's effect. Next is mutation. We have already studied mutation. They are sharp changes. Advantageous mutations lead to new phenotypes and over few generations result in speciation. Speciation means formation of new species. These are the mutations which are favorable. There are certain changes, mutations are sharp changes, but there are certain changes which are favorable for the survival of the individual. So, advantageous mutations lead to new phenotypes, means new external appearances, and which have more adaptive potential. And over few generations, they result in speciation. And this is how we are finding sharp changes, and this is another factor. Next is genetic recombination. This is a natural process of sexual reproduction. Here, during gametogenesis, variations due to recombination result in new phenotypes. Because we know during sexual reproduction, first the gametes are formed, and that is why it is written during gametogenesis. So, when the gametes fuse, there will be a new combination and there will be new phenotypes. Then there is another factor, it is called natural selection. Heritable variations that enable survival of the fittest will leave greater number of progeny, and natural selection can have following three effects. First, we understand this first line. Heritable mutations or heritable variations means those variations which are carried from generation to generation. Heritable variations that enable survival of the fittest means there are certain variations which help the individual to survive better. Will leave greater number of progeny means those who are surviving will reproduce more and will add their progeny in the population, and there will be a sharp change in the percentage of the population. Those which are not surviving will be eliminated from the population, and this is, we are moving toward the concept of natural selection. Now, how does this natural selection operates? It leaves three kind of effects, and this is also explained with the help of these graphs. The first is stabilization, second is directional, third is disruptive. We show you with graphs. This is directional, this is stabilization, this is directional, and this is disruptive. I explain you by taking a character. We are taking any trait or character on this axis and number of individuals with phenotypes on this axis. Suppose we are taking height on this. Naturally, here we will have individuals with small height, individuals with medium height, individuals with who are tall, with greater height, tall. Now, the selection operates in three different ways. In the first case, which is called the stabilization case, peak gets narrower and narrower towards the middle. Means we have more individuals with the medium height if we are talking about the character of the height. If we take some another character, again the mean more individuals will be towards the mean position of that character. If we take skin complexion, very light individuals with very light skin color, whitish color and dark color. So we will have a population with more with the mean color, medium color, or the middle between the very light or between the very dark. Say we are talking about the height. So in this peak we will have more individuals having mean position or the medium value of the height. They are shown that this kind of population is selected. Here is another case, directional. Peak shifts in one direction. It could be on this side of the mean or on that side of the mean, but it is directional. It is in one direction. It means more and more individuals are towards this side. Means if we are talking about the height, towards the taller. If the peak shifts towards the left, it means more and more individuals are dwarf or with smaller height. Then third case, here we have two peaks. This is disruptive kind, means no individuals or very less individuals towards the mean, some towards the lesser character, say smaller height, some towards the taller condition, and there are two peaks but no peak in the middle, no peak towards the mean position. So we are showing three ways how natural selection operates on different traits. I have just given the example of height. There can be any trait, but the concept is about natural selection. Stabilization. Large number of individuals acquire mean character value, so peak gets higher and narrower. This is the mean value and this peak becomes higher and narrower. Directional, as I have already shown you, large number of individuals acquire value other than the mean character, so the peak shifts in one direction. Here this is the directional as we have discussed, and this is disruption. Large number of the individuals acquire peripheral character values at both ends of the distribution curve, and hence two peaks are formed. See the formation of two peaks over here, and there are no more individuals in the middle area, means the peaks are on the sides of the mean value. So these were the 5 factors we have studied: natural selection, genetic recombination, mutation, genetic drift, migration. These 5 factors affect Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, or I should say genetic equilibrium. This equilibrium remains constant from generation to generation, but if these factors operate or any one of them operates, the equilibrium will be disturbed. So students, we have understood the concept of Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium expressed with this equation, where frequencies of the alleles are expressed like this and showing the equilibrium position. So with this we finish the concept of Hardy-Weinberg principle or Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, also called genetic equilibrium. Thank you.